Hello guys, today we're going to see some basic web hacking using this deliberately vulnerable web application called Webgoat, developed by OWASP. Now I'm not going to show you all the levels in this application. That's something you can see for yourself. There are a bunch of videos available on YouTube. I only want to give you a flavor of this and leave the other levels I don't cover here as an exercise to you. I'm going to use this application in conjunction with Burp Suite to intercept and manipulate the HTTP requests between this application and the web server. So let's activate the intercept here as first place. Of course, you know that for you to use Burp Suite you need to have a proxy activated on port 8080 here, which I already did before. So I'm going to first show you this example here. This application is vulnerable, so our goal is to log in as another user. We have the credentials for user Joe, whose password is banana. Now we need to find a way for us to log in as user Jane. Okay, so what we want to do is enter our login credentials. Now in this case I'm going to forward this request, and that's what we want to do. Now it says to enter the second number here, so this is a form of two-factor authentication, so we need to grab this number here and enter it into this field. Now intercepting this request, you see hidden user equals Joe. Now if we change this to Jane and we forward the request, we can successfully log in as Jane, so we achieved the goal of this lesson. Good job. Now another example that's pretty realistic, and that's a way hackers exploit some user account, is the way to exploit the password recovery. We're given here the credentials for a user called Webgoat, whose favorite color is red. Now, if we enter the username and we try to recover these credentials, we can manipulate this request and change Webgoat with admin and forward this request. You see this went through. At this point we're going to enter red because that was supposed to be the favorite color for our Webgoat user. Now if we manipulate this post request and we enter a different color, for example green, you see we exploited the system and we could recover the password for the administrative account. So kudos. That was pretty straightforward. Alright, so in this case we're going to use a flaw in a web page that allows you to purchase merchandise for a lower price. What I mean by that, easy to understand. Now we have two identical tabs here. Let's start by choosing the cheapest item here, which is this Hitachi external hard drive, and let's purchase it. That creates a variable here. Now, if we count this way, nothing happened and the cart wasn't updated. So what we do is we're gonna try and purchase this item here and update the cart. Now, if you come here, and I'm going to start over with my verb suit in the meantime, and we click confirm, we tricked the system, and so we illegally obtained a 90% discount. Of course, you don't want to do that. This is totally illegal. But that's how such a system can be tricked if there's no server-side authentication. On same wavelength, we might try and purchase this high definition TV for less than the purchase price. So we activate our intercept and we purchase this item. So let's update cart, and you see that here we have insecure request. Number 1, this is the quantity, and the price is hard coded, which shouldn't be. At this point, we can change the price to this and forward the request. So we practically had the free HD TV, not bad, right? Alright, so we see we have a reward mass program. We have an account ID and we should be able to grab all these items, because as of now we're not going to get all of them. In fact, you see we only have 3 items we can grab: the mug, the t-shirt, and the kettle. There's 2 we're not able to grab, but our target is to grab them too. So what we want to do is we select these 3 items. I'm gonna reactivate the intercept and we're gonna click submit. Now you see that we have 3 parameters here corresponding to each of these parameters. So the first one is 1001, the second one is 1002, and the third one is 1003. Now if we add 2 other items here, we should be able to grab all of them. Now, if we forward the request, we grabbed all these items, so we were able to successfully screw the system. Nice. This is another thing we can hijack. We see that we're traveling from Boston to Seattle. And there are two flights available, an expensive one with no stops and a cheaper one with 2 stops. So we want to practically get the one with no stops for a cheaper price. So we need to enter the code for the 2 airports. Now you see that we can choose between 2 flights. One with no stops, which is more expensive, $600, and another one with 2 stops, which is $300. Now what we want to do is select here, and let me reactivate the intercept here and submit our request. At that point, this is a web parameter and this is the actual price, so we want to buy it for $100. I mean, $100 seems to be a fair price for this flight. So we forward the request and we complete another lesson. Good job. Here's another one. So we have a money transfer page that shows your balance and so on. So this is an Ajax application, and our goal is trying to bypass the user's authorization and silently execute the transaction. So that happens when there's no server-side authentication. And we forward the request, and we completed the transaction successfully, because what's important is we didn't activate any alerts, so we're good to go. Alright, so here we need to practically enter a script in a field that wasn't supposed to do that. So if we enter this and we click purchase, like you see, we popped the JavaScript and we have successfully completed this lesson. As a matter of fact, this is due to lack of input validation both on the client side and on the server side, because something like script, or anyway something that resembles like this, a JavaScript, shouldn't be allowed in a form like this. This should only contain letters and numbers and no characters like this one, like parentheses. Elaborating on the previous one, we have this attack here. Here we're requested to log in as Tom and to perform a stored cross-site scripting attack. So let's choose Tom from this list and let's log as Tom. Okay, let's go to view profile. At this point, we're going to add a profile and we're going to run an attack against this field, street, and we're going to update the profile. and you'll see a message pops up, hacked. Now we're going to see a reflected cross-site scripting attack. So we're going to log in as this, and we're going to search stuff. At this point, we're going to paste the script here and find profile. You see that this web search here is vulnerable because we shouldn't be allowed to add such script in a search field. Last but not least, we're going to exploit this vulnerability. Once again, it's about input validation. Say this is a forum and we can post a new thread and add a message. Let's add the title, and we can add something like this kind of script. And now the message is posted. Now if another user clicks on this, that's what happens. So there should be validation both on the client side and on the server side, not to allow all this to happen. And that's why forum on a website must be strictly controlled and monitored in order to scrub this kind of inputs and prevent this type of vulnerabilities from being exploited. Okay, that was a lot of fun. See you in the next one, guys.